My world turned upside down when my younger sister Olivia returned to our hometown of Pinecrest. She was 27, newly single after her boyfriend of 5 years broke up with her in Florida, where she'd been living since college. According to Olivia, her ex dumped her and left her with nothing after he'd been secretly seeing other people behind her back. I didn't know her ex well. I'd only met him 3 times during their relationship. Twice when they visited for Christmas. They usually stayed just 3 to 4 days, and once when my husband Ryan and I visited them during our vacation in Florida. He didn't seem like someone living a double life, but I couldn't be sure. Before we continue with today's story, if you're enjoying what you've heard so far, please hit that subscribe button. Every new subscriber helps me keep sharing these inspiring tales that touch your day. Thank you for your support. When Olivia moved back, she struggled to find work. I suggested Ryan help her since he had connections at his company. He got her a position in his department, which matched her qualifications. I thought I was doing something nice for my sister, despite our relationship always being strained. Growing up, Olivia was clearly the favorite child. Our parents, Diana, 54, and Thomas, 55, never made it obvious, but the evidence was everywhere. When we both turned 16, I got an 8-year-old used sedan while she received a nearly new sports car. Her dance lessons, costumes, and competitions, sometimes requiring hours of travel, never seemed to be a financial burden. Meanwhile, when I asked for $50 for a local volleyball camp, they acted like I was asking for something outrageous. The double standards continued with discipline. At 17, I came home 15 minutes after curfew once and lost car privileges for a month. The following year, Olivia came home 2 hours late smelling like marijuana and only received a stern talking to. When Olivia started spending more time at our house, I initially thought she was trying to build a better relationship with me. Then I noticed how comfortable she and Ryan were becoming with each other. They had inside jokes, and whenever I tried to join their conversations, they'd say it was just work stuff. The first major red flag appeared about a month after Olivia started working with Ryan. She would be at our house when I got home from work. Ryan and I had different schedules. He worked 8 to 4:30, while I worked 10 to 7. When I asked why she was there, the answer was always work stuff. 2 months later, I noticed something strange. I always make our bed before leaving for work, positioning the pillowcases in a specific way, with the open end facing the edge of the bed. One day, when I came home after Olivia had visited, 2 pillows had their cases turned the wrong way. When I asked Ryan if he'd been in bed that day, he looked surprised and said no. I secretly checked his phone and laptop but found nothing suspicious. Still, they worked together 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and then spent time together afterward. Why would they need to text? The final confirmation came during a family dinner. Ryan was walking by when Olivia casually grabbed his arm. He looked at her, and she whispered something. They pressed their foreheads together briefly before Ryan quickly pulled away. Olivia then looked directly at me, smiled, and went back to what she was doing. I planned a weekend trip to the city, intending to confront Ryan. We had a wonderful Friday night, drinking, dancing, connecting intimately. I almost didn't say anything, thinking he couldn't possibly be involved with Olivia while still being so loving with me. I was wrong. As we prepared for our Saturday activities, I directly asked if he was having an affair with my sister. Ryan started crying and admitted it. They had clicked, and before he knew it, they were kissing, then more. When I asked if he'd been sleeping with her in our bed before I got home from work, he just turned his head in shame. I left immediately with only my purse and drove home alone. Ryan arrived hours later with an Uber, bringing my other belongings. He tried to apologize, but I ignored him through my tears. He packed a bag and went to a hotel. The next day, I told my parents. They already knew. They apologized for what happened and told me Olivia had left town and might not be back for a few days. I was certain she went to stay with Ryan. 3 months later, our divorce was nearly finalized. Ryan found an apartment quickly, and Olivia moved in with him. I only communicated with Ryan regarding divorce matters. Initially, he said I could have the house and savings, but then he changed his mind, saying we needed to split the house. I knew Olivia was influencing him. I had already transferred everything from our joint savings to a new account in my name. Just like that, 9 years of my life vanished. Olivia was incredibly cruel throughout this process. A few days after I discovered the affair, she posted a selfie on social media, her and Ryan with him kissing her cheek from behind. The caption read, "Feeling loved." She even tagged me in it. I logged out of my account and deleted the app from my phone. About an hour later, she texted, Sorry, sis. I didn't mean to tag you. No hard feelings. I hope we can still be close. You'll meet your soulmate someday, too. I blocked her on everything. My parents weren't much better. When I told them I would no longer have contact with Olivia and Ryan, they tried to be sympathetic at first. Then my mother said, "I'm sorry this happened. It shouldn't have happened this way, but your sister deserves to be happy, too. You'll meet someone, and then we can put all this behind us." I was furious and told them about Olivia tagging me in the photo and her text. My mother simply replied, "Well, you shouldn't be on social media anyway." My father never said anything during these conversations. When I asked what he thought, he just said, "I agree with your mother," before walking out of the room. I decided to cut off communication with them as well. The house was sold, and I planned to move to a different state without telling my family where or when. I was done with all of them. For years passed before anything significant happened. I had settled in Minnesota and rebuilt my life. After the trauma of betrayal and abandonment, I went through therapy and eventually started dating again. That's when I met Nathan, a wonderful 37-year-old chef who owned a successful restaurant and bar with his fraternal twin brother Chris. We fell in love, and I was thrilled to start my future with him. 9 months after I left my hometown, I received a wedding invitation in the mail for Ryan and Olivia's wedding. It featured a photo of them cuddling in a sunflower field. There was also a letter from my parents, essentially saying I needed to forgive and put everything behind us because we're family and families work through problems. They even mentioned that Olivia wanted me to be a bridesmaid, just as she had been for my wedding to Ryan. The invitation reopened old wounds, and I needed extra sessions with my therapist. I never responded, but I did figure out which relatives had given my address to my former family and cut them off, too. Last week, Ryan showed up at my apartment. He looked good, too good, as if he was trying to make an impression. "What do you want?" I asked when he arrived. "I just want to talk. I'm so sorry for what I did. Olivia and I are divorcing. I found out she was unfaithful to our entire marriage," he said. "I don't expect you to take me back, but we should talk and get some closure for both our sakes." I stared at him in disbelief. "No, I give you no closure. You made your own bed. Did you really think she would suddenly become faithful just because you put a ring on her finger? You're even dumber than I thought. I forgive nothing. I want nothing from you. I don't care. I'm better off now, and that will always be the case. You can go to hell." I turned and went back into my apartment, locking the door behind me. I immediately contacted my landlord, a lovely elderly woman who knew about my past. Ryan was still lurking in the hallway when her 2 nephews, who helped maintain the apartment grounds, arrived and informed him he was on a forbidden list. If he returned, the police would be called for trespassing. I hoped that was the end of it, but it wasn't. I had a simple 9 to 5 job schedule by then, so I spent most evenings at Nathan's restaurant. I didn't interfere with his work. I just enjoyed the few minutes he had available. I'd become close with many staff members, including Nathan and Chris's family members. It was the family environment I'd always wanted. The next evening, Ryan walked into the restaurant and sat down at my table. Nathan noticed immediately and came over. "Do you want me to kick him out?" he asked. "Not yet. I have a couple of questions," I replied. Ryan perked up as if he'd won something. I asked him to explain what happened between him and Olivia. He told me she had been having affairs with at least 2 married men for 2 years. "It was a tough time for me," he said, rolling his eyes. "You're not that stupid, though," I interrupted. "Did you protect yourself? Or did she get half of all your stuff?" Ryan smiled. "I stuck it out almost another year with her so I could start hiding savings and selling off assets. In the end, she got only a fraction of what she would have." "And what happened to her then?" I asked. "She had to move back in with your parents again." I was satisfied. "Yes, thank you. That's what I wanted to hear. You can go now." Nathan stood up. "You heard her. Out of my restaurant." Ryan tried to object, but I cut him off. "No forgiveness, no closure. I just wanted to know my loser sister was back living at home. Get out." Nathan pointed to the door. Ryan noticed the bartender and 2 waitstaff glaring at him. He tucked his tail and left. After he was gone, everyone checked on me. It was both sweet and embarrassing. Nathan's parents called and insisted I stay with him for a few days to be safe. I'd never had a family that looked after me so well. I didn't expect another update, but here we are. I'm now 41 with 2 wonderful boys, ages 6 and 2. Nathan and I are doing very well. I work as a part-time office manager for the restaurant. Nathan's cousin Sophia invested in the business, and we opened a second location 3 years ago. It's been more work, But the three owners stay committed to both places, making us successful while still having personal time. After Ryan found me that last time, I expected my parents or Olivia might show up eventually. When nothing happened immediately, I relaxed and returned to social media. Though I maintained no contact with much of my family, I knew they could find me if they tried. My first message came after our first child was born. My mother offered a half-hearted apology, mentioned forgiveness, and asked about her grandchild. I found her implication that my child was her grandchild offensive. I responded, "You don't have any grandchildren. I am not your daughter, so my children have no relation to you. If you want grandchildren, encourage Olivia to get out there and do what she does best." Then I blocked her. She created new accounts trying to contact me, but I always denied or deleted her requests and messages. Recently, I was flooded with requests, texts, and other attempts at contact. I read part of it, a sob story about missing out on their grandchildren's lives and wanting to make amends. I didn't care and had no intention of including them in my life again. Then something surprising happened. Olivia began reaching out. After about 3 weeks, I agreed to a Zoom meeting. Just me, no kids. When the call started, they kept asking to see the children, but I was firm that it wouldn't happen. My children have 3 grandparents, Nathan's mother, father, and grandmother. Olivia looked terrible, and my parents appeared old and worn. They all began apologizing for everything, even Olivia. She admitted she was wrong and wished she could have her sister back. A ridiculous idea. Mom immediately took over with her usual talk about being a family and looking out for one another. When she finished, I simply asked, "Is that all? I'm going to leave then." They yelled for me to wait, and the facade crumbled. The real reason for their contact emerged. Olivia had been dealing with health challenges for several years. Her kidneys were failing, and she needed a transplant. A family member was the most likely suitable match, which is why they were so persistent in contacting me. "This is why you call me? You want me to save her after what she did? My husband wasn't enough. Now she needs a body part from me too." My mother snapped, "Stop being like this. All of that was a long time ago." She began crying. "I get it. You hate us, but she's going to die if she doesn't get a transplant soon. Is that what you want? I know you think she wronged you in the worst way, but please, just this once, can we set that aside?" I became quiet, wanting to see if they'd say anything else. Eventually, my father spoke up. "Look, we're sorry for all that happened, but we have some pretty big problems. Between her medical bills and not being able to work, your mom and I are getting older and have our own problems. We might lose the house. We need you to come back to Pinecrest and see if you're a match, but we also could use some help. So you need my kidney and my money?" I asked. "Don't put it like that," he said. Olivia spoke up. "Please just come home. I need my big sister. I don't want to die. Can you just come and see if you're a match? If you're not, we'll never contact you again." I told them I'd think about it, do some research, and let them know. After ending the call, I spoke with Nathan. He supported me completely, no matter what I decided, and asked if we should all travel together or if he should come along. I said no to both. I was going alone. I informed my former family that I would get lab results in Minnesota, and if I was a match, I would come to Pinecrest to discuss everything else. About a week later, I received the results. Olivia and I were a perfect match. When I arrived in Pinecrest, Olivia had developed complications and was in the hospital. This spared me from having dinner with them, which I had no intention of doing. Whenever my parents had a free moment, they asked if I considered helping with their financial problems. After the doctors stabilized Olivia, I met with the transplant team. They began reviewing everything, and I asked to have this conversation with everyone present. We all went to Olivia's hospital room, where my parents were already waiting. The doctor explained the situation. Olivia had about 6 months without a transplant. They emphasized how perfect a match I was, how unlikely it was to find a more viable donor, and how important it was to schedule the surgery as soon as possible. I walked over to Olivia and took her hand. Looking into her eyes, I said, "Did you hear that? I am a perfect match. Essentially, I'm the only person who can save you, and I'm not going to. You are the most selfish, hurtful person I have ever known. I only came here so you would know the one person who could keep you alive is the one person you've wronged the most, and now you're paying for that with your life. You should make peace with that." Olivia burst into tears, and my parents turned to confront me. The doctor and nurse stood in complete disbelief. I turned to my parents and warned them, "Don't even speak to me, and don't you dare ever ask me for anything again." I left the room without looking back. I returned home to Minnesota, surrounded by my true family, and I couldn't be happier. Sometimes, the best revenge isn't about getting even. It's about showing someone exactly what they've lost and walking away with your head held high.